Bob Mills Weather Center, Oklahoma weather expert, Lacey Swope.
What day to be weather aware? We could see tornadoes in the state today.
And that wind is ripping out there right now.
It's definitely one of those days where it feels like an April day in Oklahoma. Today, as far as the instability goes and some of the ingredients for kind of higher end severe weather, we have the highest parameters that we've had so far this spring. Now, yesterday we saw that play out down to the southeast, looking south from Ada. Look at these clouds that were growing. Looks like something like almost, very volatile, just exploded and grew very quickly. Huge hail shafts within that, hail cores that were producing larger than baseball size hail. That's the type of explosive development that's possible across the state as we head into the afternoon and evening today. That's the thunderstorm side of things. The backside, as the dry line punches in across western Oklahoma, fire danger is pegging the scales today. We're seeing them be basically the highest they can be in Oklahoma as we head into the afternoon. And you know the drought conditions that rage on for folks out west. Now, the storm system that arrives tonight is this one. That's when the cold front pushes in, and we may see another round of storms. But what we're talking about is kind of in between the system from yesterday and that one. And there's no major trigger to spark those storms. But if we can reach what we call the convective temperature and we get one or two storms to go up, they will go up like a house on fire later today. Pike Pass Skycam Network live from American Fidelity. Looks a little hazy. That's the Gulf moisture. It is here. Feels kind of tropical. 66 degrees. There are 70s down to the south, so some 50s in northern Oklahoma. Dry line's already moving through the panhandle where winds are gusting now 25 to 30 miles per hour. It's already windy. We're headed to the upper 80s later today with 90s in western Oklahoma. Now, folks out west, your winds 45 to 55 miles per hour. We will see humidity drop down to 5%, and you know all the fuel that's out there if the fire were to get started and how quickly we've seen those play out over the last few weeks and see major wildfires if a small spark can get going. So please be careful today. The fire threat not nearly as high because the moisture content's higher ahead of the dry line, but then that poses the risk for, yes, a moderate threat for severe weather. Large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes possible. Now, one thing working against storms today, and we like things working against storms, is the cap, that lid in the atmosphere that we talk about. It's a warm layer, a few thousand feet up, and it makes it to where those kind of little bits of air that rise will hit that and fall back down. And they won't grow as rapidly until eventually they get warm enough that they do break the cap, we call it. Most data suggests we have just a couple of storms that are able to do that, and they start down in south central Oklahoma and may come into the south metro 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Now, these storms would mean business with wind and hail. They will be rotating, which will pose a tornado threat, and they will make their way off to the northeast. Now, exactly where they fire and if they fire at all, still not completely locked in because it's that kind of a day where the cap or that lid is very strong. Underneath it, though, like I mentioned, very volatile, extreme instability. And there's the storm that's coming out, but the main wave again arrives tonight. So I'll show you what that does for us. As far as chances go, for any one particular area, chances about 20% today, goes up to 30, maybe as high as 40% in south central Oklahoma. Not saying you're out of the woods up north, but your chances are much lower. Anywhere ahead of that dry line today, if a storm forms, our trackers will be on it. Jim Gardner will be in the air and will bring you updates because that does pose a tornado risk today, and the hail risk is up there. Golf ball, baseball size hail possible. Winds possibly 65 to 75 miles per hour. Then we start to lose the heating, and overnight tonight the cold front arrives. So between 2 o'clock and 8 a.m. that cold front will spark thunderstorms in northern Oklahoma. As those make their way to the east, those will also still pose a tornado risk for folks in eastern Oklahoma tonight and early tomorrow morning. Chances of rain in the metro tonight are at about 20%. They are much higher to the north and east. And once that pushes on by, we look pretty quiet. May have some wraparound precip in northern Oklahoma tomorrow, but that's not locked in. Temperatures tonight will be in the 50s behind the front, and then tomorrow much cooler. No 80s and 90s. We'll see highs in the 60s, and this thing is done. We'll see 70 Thursday, then scattered rain chances Friday. Saturday, a 20% chance of thunderstorms. The cold front comes through early, which means Easter Sunday is a cooler day. Chance for a few showers. And guys, we turn pretty chilly to start next week. We're just a long ways away from that. Today, fire danger and severe weather. Back to you.